Yo, what's up guys? We're back with another video today. And in today's video, guys, while we're waiting for Israel Adesanya versus Imavov, I thought, why not make a little video talking about some of the best strikers in UFC right now. So I'm giving my top 15 rankings of the best UFC strikers. Possibly the most original idea in MMA history, guys, I know. But I kind of just want to give my own opinion because it's honestly an interesting topic to talk about, So without further ado, let's get into them. Coming into top 15, guys. Justin Gaethje. I don't talk about Justin Gaethje that much on this channel. With Justin Gaethje, guys, he's one of the best strikers, while at the same time, the worst striker on this entire list. Sometimes he can, throw really good punches, and I'm just like, wow, this guy's amazing. But then at the same time, he just fights so terrible, and it's just like, I don't know where to put this guy. I feel like he deserves to be in the top 15, but pretty much every other guy in this list is, above him. Once we get into, top 14, that's when things start to get a little bit more competitive. But I feel like you've got to put Justin Gaethje on here, because, the dude... he's pretty skilled. He has wins over some good strikers. He beat Dustin Poirier. He beat Michael Chandler. Tony Ferguson, when Tony Ferguson was actually El Kukui. Rest in peace, Tony Ferguson. It's kind of sad that he left the UFC now. But anyways, yeah, with Justin Gaethje, he's one of the best, but at the same time, the worst strikers. That's how I really describe Justin Gaethje. All right, number 14, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. With Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, he's always been a very consistent striker. The dude is, even at 41 years old, he's still one of the best strikers in the UFC. The masterclass he put on against Kevin Holland was amazing. And most of the guys he's lost to recently are guys that are taking him down and wrestling with him to get a win. Unless you count Joaquin Buckley, but, Joaquin Buckley has got some KO power, I'll give him that. But, look at the guys he's lost to recently, Gilbert Burns and Bilal Muhammad. These guys, they took him down throughout the whole fight in order to get a decision win. Because they know that if they try to stay on the feet with him, Wonderboy's either going to knock them out, or he's just going to put on a striking masterclass against them. So, that's why most of these guys take down Wonderboy. And because, another thing is, he's he's literally the best karate fighter in the UFC. And, the best karate fighter is actually a really good fighter. One of the best strikers in the UFC, like I just said. That's why he's on this list. But the reason why he loses so many of these fights recently is just it's because of his style. Because you're in a karate stance, I feel like if you're in a karate stance, it's much easier to get taken down. Whereas if you were just in a normal boxing stance or just a different style, There's going to be another guy on this list who I'm going to make similar comparisons to Wonderboy. But yeah, it's besides getting taken down a lot, when he's not getting taken down, he puts on a striking masterclass. It's really hard to beat him on the feet. You either have to be a better striker than him, which there are very few, or you have to have some KO power, some really good KO power that's gonna hurt Wonderboy. And you have to be tough as well, because most of Joaquin Buckley was getting beaten up badly until he just toughened through it and used his knockout power to knock Wonderboy out. That was literally how he won the fight. But still, you've got to put respect on Wonderboy, man. 41 years old, and he's still putting on striking masterclasses at that age. It's really impressive. All right, now coming into number 13, guys. Israel Adesanya. Now, here's the thing. I've seen people not put Adesanya in the top 15 at all. And I've seen people put him at number 1. Both of them are not correct. I think Adesanya is still I think he's still in my top 15 best strikers as far as UFC goes. Because realistically, the guys that he's lost to, besides if we were to subtract the Duplessis one, the only guys he's lost to are Pereira, who's one of the best strikers in the UFC right now. And he beat Adesanya 3 times, which is incredibly impressive. And Sean Strickland. And I think Sean Strickland is literally the perfect counter to Adesanya. Because Strickland was just walking him down. And he couldn't let Adesanya, take his range and, punching him and countering him and doing his leg kicks. But when he's not fighting those guys, he's really good. He's really good at the range, keeping his distance and keeping the jab and the leg kicks. And especially with the DDP fight, guys, Adesanya's striking actually looked a little bit different. He was keeping the pressure on DDP. He was going for the body. He was actually trying to do more than just keeping at his range. And I thought that was a really good performance against Adesanya, even though he lost. And because of that, I still have him in my like top 15. He's not above like any of these other guys, but I feel like you still have to give credit where credit's due as far as Adesanya's striking career goes. Coming into number 12, guys, Michael Venom Page. Now, with Michael Venom Page, it's straight up impossible to like go one-on-one with striking. Maybe Shar can do it. We'll see how it goes. Maybe this list might age terribly in the coming like couple days. Pause, major pause, hold, oh my god. But regardless, Michael Venom Page is like such a like, it must suck just trying to strike with this guy. Cause the dude's style is so frustrating. Kevin Holland looked so frustrated when he was like striking with him. He could not land any of his strikes. Like, it was actually ridiculous. Yeah, no, with Kevin Holland, he couldn't get any of his good shots on like Michael Venom Page. And even with Ian Gary's like a really good striker. He knew that he couldn't strike with Michael Venom Page, so he went to the ground and he became like a Khabib Nurmagomedov in that fight. Because it's so hard to like actually strike with this guy, because his style is just so difficult. He blitzes in, back and forth, back and forth. He'll do some like goofy moves, some weird moves that you've never seen before, and he'll usually win most of those exchanges. But problem with Michael Venom Page, the reason why I have Michael Venom Page higher than Wonderboy is because, for one, I'd say he has more KO power than Wonderboy, and he's more dangerous on the feet than Wonderboy. Wonderboy's more technical, and he'll kind of like tip-tap you until he finds a finish. But with Michael Venom Page, any moment he like blitzes in, you never know if it's going to be the shot to knock him out, you know what I'm saying? But again, another problem with Michael Venom Page is, because the way of how he like fights and his stance, it's very easy to take him down. And that's the thing. The only way to beat Michael Venom Page is you can't outstrike him. You have to take him down, or either get like a fluke KO, which has happened once, but like that's like what, 1 in a million? It's not gonna happen like rarely ever again. So your best bet is to like wrestle with him, and it's very easy to take him down because of his stance, which again I talked about with Wonderboy. Wonderboy's stance is like karate stance. I don't know if with Michael Venom Page, it's very similar to Wonderboy's, and I feel like it's very easy to take him down still. Like, Kevin Holland was having success taking him down, to be honest. But with that being said, I still have Michael Venom Page above Wonderboy, just because he's more dangerous on the feet. Alright, now coming into number 11, a guy who I actually never thought would be on this list, Khalil Roundtree. The only reason Khalil Roundtree is on here is because of the performance he had against Alex Pereira, and that was an amazing performance. Like, I think we can all give him credit and like understand that the dude actually performed extremely well against Alex Pereira. His striking, he was winning those rounds against Alex Pereira, one of the most dangerous strikers in the UFC right now. You could argue that if Khalil didn't gas out, he could have won that fight, but I feel like when Khalil was just throwing haymakers over and over and over again, you just can't keep that pace for like 5 rounds straight. And he was trying to knock out Alex Pereira. We saw that, but Alex Pereira's chin is just a lot better when it comes to light heavyweight than was in middleweight. And eventually, Alex Pereira was able to find his groove and eventually TKO him in like the 4th round. But even then, like I don't think that there's anyone in that division, maybe except for Yuri because of Yuri's weird style, who can actually like stand toe-to-toe on the feet with Khalil Roundtree, because the dude is so nasty with his striking, and he has some violent knockout power. Like, here's the thing. See, I do boxing, right? And I have this agenda in my head where there's 2 types of power. You either have knockout power, which is just gonna knock people out, or you have painful power. And to me, that's like, for me, that's like power that's not going to knock you out, but it's going to hurt a lot, and it's going to hit hard. That's what it is for me with Khalil Roundtree. He kind of has a mix of both, but I would say when he hits, it hurts. Alright, now we are in the top 10 for me. Now, for the top 10, I have Sean Strickland. With Sean Strickland, I mean, most of this is because of what he did against Adesanya. Like, Strickland's style is literally the worst style for Adesanya to fight. And Strickland made him look like an amateur. He really did. He made Adesanya look like he should not have been the champion ever. And then it's also crazy the fact that Alex Pereira was able to KO him in like the 1st round. Kind of crazy. But even then, like with Strickland, I feel like Strickland's gotten a lot better since that Pereira fight. I feel like I don't know what happened. Maybe he didn't get better at all. Maybe he just had the style before, and it's just Alex Pereira is just a kryptonite to Sean Strickland. But I don't know, man. I feel like Sean Strickland's style, and again, this is one of those fighters where it just sucks to fight this guy, because, like, he must be such an annoying fighter to fight. It's amazing that du Plessis was able to beat Strickland in their first fight, and most of the time he was on the feet with him. Don't know how he did it, don't understand it, it's crazy. But yeah, with Strickland's style, it's just such a pain to fight against him. Like, I don't think anyone in that division right now can outbox Sean Strickland or have, like, any competitiveness. Maybe du Plessis, because du Plessis' style is very goofy, but I feel like du Plessis has to mix the wrestling, he has to mix the kicks, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't think anyone, as far as the middleweight division goes currently, can go toe-to-toe with him as far as the striking goes. Alright, coming into number 9, guys, I have Islam Makhachev. Out of anyone on this list, guys, Islam Makhachev, I think, is the most underrated striker. He's got some really good striking. I can't say, originally I had him a lot higher on this list, but after thinking that, I put him a little bit down, still in my top 10, but I had him originally in my number 6 because he was able to outstrike Poirier. But with that fight, when Poirier has to worry about the grappling and the wrestling and the striking, he's not going to have as much success as he would be if Islam was just a striker, you know what I'm saying? And even then, I think Poirier was able to get some good shots on Islam while having to worry about the wrestling. But with that being said, Islam Makhachev is like an extremely good striker. He had a competitive striking match against a prime Volkanovski. Prime Volkanovski was something else, man. Like, the dude was actually unbelievable. And the fact that he was able to make the striking very competitive is extremely impressive to me. And I really hope that Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria happens soon, because that would be I would love to see how on the feet goes, how the wrestling goes. Because for me, Islam Makhachev is a really good boxer, and I think Topuria is a really good boxer. And I would like to see how those two play out as far as the striking goes. Alright, coming into my number 8 spot, guys, I have JDM. When it comes to JDM, guys, I feel like JDM somewhat gets slept on, but even then, whenever I hear about JDM, everybody's always glazing him. I understand the glaze, like, I somewhat get it, and I think he is a really good boxer. Like, do not get me wrong, he is an extremely well-talented boxer, but I don't think he's, like, one of the best boxers in the UFC. His style is extremely good. I think we just need to see him fight better competition, because besides, like, Gilbert Burns, what other high competition has he been? Randy Brown? That's a decent win. He put him out cold. Kevin Holland? Kevin Holland's, like, not a good win. I think a lot of this, I think this ranking's gonna change depending how him versus Leon Edwards goes, because if JDM knocks out Leon Edwards, he's going much higher on this list. I'm gonna put him probably in my top 4, maybe top 5. Out of everyone on this list, I feel like JDM has the biggest potential as far as the striking goes. Alright, coming into my number 7 spot, guys, I have Sean O'Malley. The dude has knockout power. He has wins over Petr Yan, Aljamain Sterling, and Marlon Vera. I put Marlon Vera on here just because he's a big name, but you get what I mean. Those are some really good names on his resume, and he's so fluent when he strikes. Like, apart from the, and that's like, again, I keep saying this, he looked so stiff against when he fought Merab, but when he's fighting these other guys, he looks so fluent, and I don't understand why he was so stiff in that fight when he has to fight, when he's fought grapplers before. Like, when he fought Aljamain, he wasn't as stiff as he was when he fought Merab. Don't know what that was about. I feel like we need to see a rematch. I don't care. I want to see a rematch in that fight, to be honest. But yeah, there's not much else to say besides he's fluent when it comes to his striking. He has wins over some really good fighters and Petr Yan, but the Petr Yan win is pretty controversial. I will have to say that. I like Sean O'Malley, guys. I like Sean O'Malley, but I don't believe he won against Petr Yan. I think it was a very close fight, but I give it to Petr Yan. I really do give it to Petr Yan. But still, he technically has a win over him, so I'm putting that on here. But barely just being out Sean O'Malley, I have Petr Yan. I still, like, here's the thing. I think O'Malley is more fluent and has more knockout power than Petr Yan. But I think as far as, like, Petr Yan goes, he's not only a more technical striker than Sean O'Malley, but in my opinion, he's the most skilled striker in the UFC right now. Like, the dude is so fluent, and he just, whenever you see him fight and just, like, whatever, he's so skilled and so talented you just feel amazed. You feel like you're watching like Michael B. Jordan right now, to be honest. And he has wins over Davison Figueiredo, Corey Sandhagen, and arguably beats Sean O'Malley. And I do believe he arguably beat Sean O'Malley. I do think that. I don't know who would win if those two had a rematch again. I really don't know. I think it's a 50-50 if I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys, which is why I have them both right next to each other. All right, now coming into my top 5 guys, I have Max Holloway. Max Holloway is not only one of the best strikers in UFC, he's also landed the most strikes ever in the UFC. Like, it's almost like 4,000 strikes now. It's ridiculous. And I think that if he were to, let's say everyone was like around the same weight and same height, right? If he has to fight anyone below him, he's beating them. He's putting on masterclass. He's putting a 50-45 masterclass on them. But if he fights anyone above him, he's cooked. He's cooked. It's so weird because when he fights other people, he looks amazing. Like how he did against Justin Gaethje, he basically 50-45'd him and then decided to KO him in like the last second. But then in the next fight, he'll get 50-45 by Volkanovski. You know what I'm saying? It's his, when he wants to, he can be really good. But at the same time, it's more or less because of the higher competition, some of the guys who are just better skilled than him. Now, coming off that, I have Volkanovski at my number 4 spot. The dude 50-45 Max Holloway. He 50-45'd him. And he's beaten him 3 times. It's actually insane. It's actually insane. Like, yes, I think Max Holloway won their second fight, but the judges gave it to Volkanovski. But regardless, that's still a win as far as Volkanovski's, like, record goes. Having 3 wins over him is actually insane. Like, if we're just excluding out the Holloway fights, he's also putting on striking masterclasses against other guys like the Korean Zombie, Yair Rodriguez, Brian Ortega. You know, he's really putting on a striking masterclass and just looking extremely well on the feet against all these guys. His fight IQ as far as the striking goes, I feel, as far as like when he was at his prime, was extremely underrated. I feel like nobody talks about that as much. I feel like when he was at his prime, his fight IQ was actually insane in my opinion. Alright, now we're coming into our top 3 guys. Now, you could make an argument about all these 3 fighters. You could swap them all around, and I wouldn't disagree with you. But in my 3rd spot, I have Alex Pereira. I think Alex Pereira is an extremely dangerous striker on the feet. I think that he has the most dangerous knockout power. When anyone in the UFC he fights, he's going to knock them out. Ignore the Jan Blachowicz fight. Let's pretend that didn't happen. But everyone else, he knocks them out. It's actually crazy. And all of his title wins are all by either TKO or knockout. It's ridiculous. And the dude has 5 wins over like 5 formal champions. It's ridiculous. I know I just said that before, but it really is. And the fact that he's barely done an MMA in his whole career and has like 5 wins over 5 formal champions is ridiculous, guys. Like, it's ridiculous. Everybody talks about it. It's being a dead horse, but it's actually ridiculous. I can't get over the fact that this dude with less than 15 fights in his pro career has been 5 formal champions. It's ridiculous. All right, now coming into my 2nd spot, I have Ilia Topuria. I don't like Ilia Topuria, but I have to give credit where credit's due. He is one of the most dangerous strikers you can go against. With Poatan likes to take more of his time to find a shot. Like, he'll wait for the moment to get it. But with Topuria, you never know when he's gonna, knock someone out. Like, the dude literally, I think Topuria has more dangerous knockout power than Pereira does because he's more vicious with it. With Topuria, for one, he has wins over Volkanovski and Max Holloway, 2 guys in my top 5. Actually insane. And he did those back to back. It's actually disgusting how he was able to knock both of them out back to back. It's ridiculous. And I think him KOing Max Holloway was a better performance than him KOing Volkanovski, because Volkanovski was coming off a knockout 4 months ago before he fought Topuria, whereas Holloway, he was able to take some time to rest after his Gaethje fight, and he was able to get ready to go back down to featherweight to fight Topuria. And even then, Holloway and Topuria, they were very competitive on the feet. Let's not get that, twisted. They were very competitive on the feet. But it's the fact that Topuria has knockout power is what tipped it in his favor. And the fact that he knocked out Holloway. Nobody does that to Holloway, guys. Nobody does that to Holloway. The fact that Poirier was able to knock him out is actually insane. I will give him credit where credit's due. Knocking out Max Holloway, I think, is one of the most impressive things you can do in your career. But coming into my number one, guys, I have Dustin Poirier. I don't care what anyone says. Dustin Poirier is one of the greatest strikers in the UFC ever, guys. The wins that he has is ridiculous. Holloway twice, Conor McGregor twice, Justin Gaethje, Dan Hooker, Eddie Alvarez. These are some elite level wins to have, and most of these guys are strikers. Like, all of them are strikers. It's ridiculous. And I feel like the Holloway and Conor McGregor wins are extremely impressive. Like, for one, Dustin Poirier to be able to knock out Conor McGregor is extremely impressive, but to me, the most impressive win is the fact that he was able to beat Holloway twice. The first time when they were both young into their career, and then the second time was when Holloway was in his prime, when he was the champion, and Dustin Poirier was able to get the win over him while he was the champion, and this was before he was a big name. This was when Holloway was the bigger name than Poirier, and Poirier was able to still beat him. It's ridiculous. And to me, that's why Dustin Poirier is my number one best striker in the UFC, guys. But guys, that is me covering my top 15 best strikers in the UFC right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace!